A few years ago, I did a video called Who Can Understand Stewie that I guess some people saw. And while I don't think that video is useless, the years going by have shown me that it's not as accurate as I thought. I mean, the comments showed me that too, but that's kind of a given. You know, niggas can't wait to correct a stranger on the internet. So in honor of the 450th episode of Family Guy, The Edible Arrangement, which just so happens to be a circumstance where Lois can fully understand Stewie, we'll get to that, I thought it'd be fitting to do an updated version of my original video. Using new research, examples that I forgot, corrections that came from viewers like you. And trying to see if we can more definitively answer this question. Get ready to laugh and cry.
Stupid laugh and cry, F and cry, what's the difference?
This is Who Can Really Understand Stewie. Alright, I already played the intro. First and foremost, I want to let it be known that this is not a comb over of every single instance that Stewie talks to somebody in the cartoon, but more an analysis on certain trends, patterns, and how the philosophies have altered since 1999. I know in the last video I broke everything down into the sections always, sometimes, and never, but I think it's more useful to analyze this stuff on a spectrum from like most likely to least likely. I don't think there's as many absolutes when it comes to this stuff as I let on last time. The most popular philosophy that people kept commenting under the original video without watching it, and what I'm sure some of you have already commented because everyone treats video essays with question titles as forum posts instead of content that they clicked on. That was mean. I meant it though, is that everyone can understand Stewie and they just choose to ignore him because he's a baby. If you believe this, you probably haven't watched Family Guy in about 10 to 15 years. The show has changed so much in over 25 years. It hasn't been written this way in a while. But to this philosophy's credit, this is actually showcased countlessly throughout the early era of the show. There is a lot of evidence of it. So with leaving out Brian because he can obviously understand him, if you're worried about that, then you haven't seen a single episode of this cartoon at all, which weird video choice for your lunch break, but alright. Let's look at every immediate Griffin family member for early examples that support this.
Dad, get off me! Get off me, Dad!
Hey, get off my sister!
Go fly a kite, bub.
Ouch!
Peter is a character that doesn't respond directly as early as everyone else. In the season 1 finale, after Brian runs away for a bit, Stewie's the only one that seems happy about it and Peter responds to what he said.
Let's get a kitty!
See, gang, Stewie's got the right idea.
I don't know, Peter.
Lois, trust me, we'll get a lovable kitty cat and everybody will feel a lot better.
And Brian in love when he's trying to potty train him. Stewie tells Peter to put his hands on the toilet seat to help him relax.
Okay, buddy.
And when Peter says that he should just give Stewie some alcohol since it'll just like go right through him, this happens.
Wonderful, and while we're at it, we can light up a doobie and watch porn. Yeah?
But even beyond those early examples, Peter's an interesting case because I think he's the only family member that has jokes that not only directly affirm that he can understand Stewie, but acknowledging the concept that understanding him isn't exactly the norm.
You're such a bitch!
She's a bitch. Meg, you said you wouldn't tell Stewie's secret.
Stewie, you told Dad? I had to get it off my chest. I didn't think he'd understand me.
I understand pieces now and then.
Hey, Dad, that's a cool whip. I thought you couldn't understand me. Oh, that's nice of you to say.
Thank you, Stewie, who I can understand.
Why are you so fucking negative all the time?
What?
A character like Chris has seemingly always understood Stewie, to the point where every era of the cartoon has episodes where the two of them team up and have to talk to each other throughout. It's a through line that I don't think people realize, but they really are an underrated dynamic.
Ow! Chris, grab his legs. I gotta bury this thing.
But
Grab his legs!
Chris's earliest direct response to Stewie, unless you count him just looking at him in the first episode as a direct response for some reason, is in the first act of Chitty Chitty Death Bang.
Plans? The devil are you talking about?
it's your birthday, dude!
In the season 1 finale, Brian Portrait of a Dog, Chris responds to Stewie in probably the most direct way of the season if you don't count Brian.
You seem to know all the players in this poorly acted farce. What do they call that one?
That's Meg, dude. You know that.
The end of the season 11 heater, dude, whatever, it's just Family Guy backwards, suggests that Chris and Brian have actually understood Stewie since birth. Brian has a full conversation with him when he comes out of the womb, which nobody reacts to until Chris provides the last joke of the episode.
You guys heard the baby talking in there, didn't you?
Chris, that's ridiculous.
See how already the philosophy is a bit different. 11 seasons in and Lois isn't ignoring Stewie. She can't hear him at all. Why else would she call Chris ridiculous? Never mind, don't answer that. How is this clip still going? Cut this shit off! Real quick, today's video is actually brought to you by Man to Sleep 2026 and they still showing the boy love. If you're having trouble with sleep, look no further. Manta Sleep has pillowcases, pillow spray, sleep journals, multiple different sleep masks, whatever you could think of. If you need that, they got that. Real quick, I gotta spotlight these earbuds and the Manta Sleep white noise machine. These earbuds are actually designed for sleep, which isn't as common as you think, so that you don't have to choose between quiet and comfort. You barely feel anything while they're in your ear, and they have multiple adjustable shapes and sizes that help them stay in place for elite noise reduction. The white noise machine has a simple one-click start, no Bluetooth or nothing crazy like that, and it's specifically designed to create a sound shield that safely blocks noise. It'll help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up refreshed every morning. Head over to mantasleep.com to get your sleep on. Shout out Missy Elliott. Visit the Manta Sleep website and use my discount code in the description for 10% off. That's mantasleep.com. Using my code in the description to get 10% off. Alright, so what about Lois? Of course, there's the classic examples, right? Like the mummy bit, and when Peter didn't like The Godfather at the end of season 4.
Well, how can you say you don't like it if you haven't even given it a chance?
I agree with Stewie. It's not really fair.
In the very first scene in the entire cartoon, after the cold open, Lois and Stewie actually have a back and forth conversation. Stewie is working on a mind control device. Lois takes it, and when he protests, she reaffirms that there's no toys at the table.
Return the device, woman.
No toys, Stewie.
And this is really playing on the idea that they can hear him and understand him, but choose not to take him seriously. He's using these big words and is literally threatening his mother, but she responds in an extremely nonchalant way.
Stewie, why don't you play in the other room?
Why don't you burn in hell?
Well, no dessert for you, young man.
In the second episode, I Never Met the Dead Man, there's a scene at the top where Lois is trying to feed Stewie broccoli and he's really upset about it. This scene is a little more indicative of what I feel like they do later on. Lois isn't directly responding to the words that Stewie is saying, but more to his emotion and attitude. It's less about her understanding him and paying him no mind, and more about her understanding his mood.
Damn the broccoli, damn you, and damn the Wright brothers.
My, aren't we fussy tonight?
Meg actually does something similar in Mind Over Murder. She doesn't respond to anything that he says, but still tells Peter that she knows he's upset.
Ah, put me down, you Brobdingnagian blunderbuss!
He's a little cranky from teething.
Early on in Mind Over Murder, Stewie is teething, and Lois responds to him directly about his pain.
Oh, well, 1,000 pardons for disrupting your flatware sanitation ritual, but you see, I'm in searing pain!
Oh, you're just teething, Stewie. It's a normal part of a baby's life.
Later that same episode, when Lois is performing in the basement, this happens.
Bye-bye, Stewie. Mommy will be upstairs to kiss you goodnight.
Burn in hell!
Hell. Hell has fire.
And the son also draws. Stewie calls Native Americans, stupid, greedy savages. Jesus, what the fuck, this nigga right Disney's Pocahontas? And Lois corrects him.
Stupid, greedy savages!
Stewie, that's a terrible thing to say.
In Brian, Portrait of a Dog, during the heat wave, Stewie threatens to call CPS if Lois doesn't put a linen fit on him.
Fetch me something linen to throw on before I call child services!
Please don't threaten Mommy. She's very hot.
Going back to season 2's Brian and Love, Lois responds to Stewie about his food.
What the hell is this?
Sweetie, that's tuna salad.
A little later, he motions for Lois to come down so he can talk to her, which you can just read as her responding to like body language and not words. But since it's in the same scene where she responds to him directly, you can probably count this one too.
Bend down, mother.
Yes, honey?
And in season 3's Mr. Griffin Goes to Washington, she has a nightmare at the top of the episode where she completely understands him and tells him that she should have been paying attention to everything that he's been saying since he was born, implying that she does hear everything that he says, at least in the early years, and just chooses to ignore it and not take him seriously. It's kind of wild how this like little bit from an episode that I haven't seen in like 10 years kind of cracks this video wide open.
All these months I should have been paying attention to what you've been saying. You're an evil child. Why? Why did I have to go and smoke pot when I was pregnant with you?
I got a lot of corrections on that original video, which people were really chill about for the most part, which is nice. Y'all should see how they be talking to me under some of my other videos. But one of the biggest corrections was what I said about Meg. Looking back, I think it was really bold of me to throw her in that never category while only using like my memory in that outdated ass Family Guy wiki. I definitely could have dug more. The most common comment I got, besides complaining about the ad read like the video don't got fucking timestamp, was about this clip in season 3's When You Wish Upon a Weinstein. Not that Weinstein.
No! What the hell are you doing?
Watching you sleep, cutie pie.
It's a tough call, but I think the first time that Stewie talks to her directly and she responds is in the season 1 finale.
You there, child woman! I'll give you a shiny new dime if you roll me into the nearest lake.
Let me see if I can find you a juice box, okay?
But a few episodes back in The Sun Also Draws, when Peter and Chris get lost in the woods, Stewie says that they're dead, and both Lois and Meg look at him in a way that very clearly indicates that they completely understood what he said.
They're dead, you know.
Meg understanding Stewie word for word absolutely happens significantly less than any other family member. It's a lot more spread out, but it does happen, and I really regret confidently saying that it didn't. In season 8's Big Man on Hippocampus, Peter loses his memory and understanding of the world around him. After he has sex with Lois for the first time, he comes downstairs and says that if sex with the rest of the family is just as good as it was with Lois, everything should be fine. Clearly not understanding what sex actually is and that he cannot fuck his kids. I hated writing that sentence. Meg then says, "Well, I wish you would have told him that before he lost his memory." And the entire room gasps. Nobody liked that shit, with Stewie being the first one to chew her out, and she responds directly to him.
I was just making a joke.
That's your sense of humor?
I was just kidding.
In that season 4 episode where Adam West dates Meg, who will later become his fucking niece, Brian goes to City Hall and lies to Meg and says that he's there to apologize for an earlier blow up. To keep their cover, Stewie calls Meg pretty and she responds.
Oh, and, you're so pretty. You're always pretty.
Oh, you guys are so sweet.
In Ready, Willing, and Disabled from season 3, Chris, Stewie, and Meg find $26 on the street and put up signs around town to find out who it belongs to. And I noticed, funny enough, that the signs say to ask for Meg, Chris, or Stewie, a literal infant. It's no mystery that Chris understands Stewie throughout this story, like he does with most of, if not all of, the cartoon.
The skirt's trying to pull a fast one. Knuckles, get the handbag.
Right, boss.
But with Meg, it's really up in the air. They don't really have a chance to directly interact in this story too often. There's this part where Meg takes the money out of Stewie's diaper, and her face changes when he responds, which you can take as her understanding him.
Very clever. Take another reach, you forgot your change.
There's this other part where Stewie says, "Whoever wants the money, raise your hand." And Meg's hand goes up, but only slightly after Chris's goes up, which is like, I guess you can debate, but like, nah, we're not gonna be doing that. If you ask me, the more common philosophy that seems to be in play is that Brian and Chris understand him without a shred of doubt, Peter understands him more often than not, and characters like Meg, Lois, and the family friends only seem to react to body language and mood instead of directly hearing the words that he says. If he doesn't move around when he speaks, they have nothing to react to, typically seeming like they can't hear him at all. Staying on Meg, this happens a lot with her. Like in season 4's gay marriage episode, notice how she doesn't even react to what Stewie says to her here. She looks at him, clearly indicating that she hears something, but it might not be his exact words.
Oh, you hear that, Meg? Guys can marry other guys now. So, oh, this is awkward, but, I mean, if they can do that, that's pretty much it for you, isn't it?
But even beyond Meg, bringing up season 8's Big Man on Hippocampus again because it's a fucking classic, when they're on Family Feud, Lois gives answers during the bonus round while holding Stewie, and he gives answers too, but nobody hears or counts them.
Wait a sec, I said feces. Where's my answer?
I think with the more intelligent family members that aren't Brian, even though this isn't 100% consistent with every moment in the cartoon, that this is how they like to write these scenarios. A lot of the show is Stewie giving asides and the entire cast acting like he's not really there. It's almost like him and Brian are in their own little bubble when they interact in front of everybody. There's so many moments where the two of them talk to each other and no one looks, when they hit each other and no one reacts. In Patriot Games, he pushes him in front of a bus. In the former life of Brian literally smacks Stewie out of Lois's hands, and she doesn't do shit, just keeps on going. To quote a very funny tweet, "They face is killing me, why nobody give a fuck?" Oh nigga, what episode is this? As far as outside the house, it's kind of a case-by-case basis. There's moments where Cleveland understands him.
Yeah, let's see what else we've got here. The first season of Sister Sister on DVD.
You're welcome.
Joe, Mort.
Okay, take it easy, man.
No, fuck you, Stewie.
Loretta, Cleveland's ex-wife, famously says that she can only barely understand him.
Well, I get the gist of what you're saying, Stewie.
I'm not gonna lie, I still call this nigga Stewie because of this. Who the fuck is Stewie? And typically, if there's a character tied to a character that can always understand him, the odds are that they can hear him too. Think like Brian's girlfriends, or when they went to go visit Anne Murray. A character like Principal Shepard is more of a Chris-centered character than anything else, so it makes sense that he can argue with and understand Stewie in season 20's The Jersey Boar. Then there's when he's in costume. There's an episode with a B story about Quagmire, Brian, and Stewie, and Quagmire acts like he literally doesn't know who Stewie is while he has his costume on.
Well, you've clearly invested a lot of time into this. And yet, two fellows like us with loose lips could cause it all to fall apart. Who's this trombone?
Or how Connie is a more Meg-centric character, yet she can understand him word for word in mixed stroke while he's dressed as Zack Sawyer.
I wear long sleeve shirts under short sleeve shirts under long sleeve shirts.
Wow, you're
Oh my
awesome.
God, you're so cool.
awesome.
You've checkmated my teenage cynicism.
Real quick, I want to talk about some episodes that understandably confuse people. Because there's been a lot of episodes where the plot focuses on Stewie and a character that doesn't understand him, yet because the narrative is about both of them, it leads people to feel like they do. I got a decent amount of comments about Peter's lost youth. In this one, Meg watches Stewie while Peter and Lois are gone, and he runs away after she forgets to take him out of timeout. Meg and Stewie do not talk to each other in this. She does not respond to a single word that he says, but it's more about his actions.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Let's pick out a cute shirt for you. Then I thought we can go to the park.
Or how about this? I press my butt against the wall and duke on it.
Stewie, don't do that!
A very clear example is at the end of the episode, where she reacts when Stewie points to her, but also asks him if he's afraid of her after he already said out loud that he was afraid of her. They wouldn't write it this way if she actually heard him.
She's scary and mean, and I don't ever want her to be in charge of me.
Are you afraid of me, little guy?
If you're thinking, oh, you never know, Family Guy can be pretty lazy, let me see what script you wrote, bro. That Alpha and Omega fanfic don't count. In the courtship of Stewie's father, the one where Stewie and Peter bond over abusing Lois, most of the episode seems to be Peter strictly responding to Stewie's emotions, his laughter, his anger. But even within the same episode, they changed the rules up so that Stewie responds to him directly.
You think he's dead?
Nah, he'll be back on his feet in no time. Probably following Jonathan Dolgen's footsteps, wind up with a pod deal over a touchstone.
An example that was corrected a lot in the comments was season 21's The STEWIE, where Stewie accidentally ends up on a flight with Quagmire to Paris and he has to take care of him. In the original video, I say that he never understands a single word that he says in that episode. And after a close rewatch, I was definitely right, but the details are so subtle that I can see why someone would think otherwise. They see the Eiffel Tower on TV and Stewie asks to go. And Quagmire literally says that he doesn't know what he's saying.
Oh, can we go there, please? I don't know what you're yammering about, but the only place you're going is this hotel and the airport.
About 30 seconds later, they establish through a joke that Quagmire can only understand when Stewie makes baby noises.
I'm just gonna put on some music for a bit to calm down. What do you like? Goo goo. The dolls? Gaga. The lady?
30 seconds after that, they see a guy and a baby in the hotel, and they both recognize them, with Quagmire literally talking over Stewie, saying the exact same thing, like he can't hear him.
You know, I think they were weirdly on our plane. I weirdly think those guys were on our airport shuttle.
Top of the second act, Quagmire implies that he doesn't think that Stewie can understand him, while Quagmire doesn't even react to anything that Stewie says in the entire scene.
I know you're just a baby, but I feel like you really understand me. I can understand you, dude.
And there's this scene when they're drinking wine. Quagmire asks Stewie if he thinks that his car is a woman's car, after Stewie already says that it's not. And he only responds when Stewie shakes his head no. It's actually kind of insane how much detail they put into explaining these rules subtly, especially after I just spent 15 minutes analyzing how inconsistent it is.
I know my dad and everyone says that your car is like a woman's car, but I like it. And hey, off topic, but you don't think my car lays like a woman's car, right? Yeah, no way, man. Okay, good.
And of course, there's season 19's premiere, Stewie's First Word, where Stewie gets really upset in church and curses. Everyone can hear it, they all react, and Stewie theorizes that it's the passion and emotion that he felt that made that one word break through.
I was feeling so much intense emotion in the moment, and that one word somehow just burst through.
Yeah, but now what? Everyone can understand you?
I don't think so.
That's how confusing this shit is. They got this nigga theorizing about himself. At the end of the episode, when Lois returns from a trip, Stewie lets out a very happy "Mommy!"
Mommy!
And everyone hears it, running over shocked, including 3 characters who can usually understand him, making "Mommy" Stewie's second word. Give this episode a shot if you haven't seen it already. It's a lot of fun and it has one of my favorite ending gags.
Took you for a ride, Jack. You thought you were a big wheel till you found out squares don't roll, man.
Dig this, Hepcat. The stew man spun you round like a Bill Evans 45.
Look at the little cup, bruh. Last thing I want to talk about in this video that is way longer than it's supposed to be is the season 24 opener that just aired, The Edible Arrangement. In this one, Stewie takes some of Brian's edibles after a dispensary opens in Quahog.
Ooh, sativa. That means nothing to me or anyone.
Gives some to Lois without her knowing, as inspired by a Bill Cosby cutaway. Not crazy about that detail. When they're both high and Stewie speaks, she understands him completely, word for word, for the first time in years.
You can talk?
You can understand me?
I'm not the biggest Family Guy isn't funny anymore person. I think there's a lot of recent-ish episodes that could potentially crack my top 100 or even top 50. It just depends on what you really like from this show and these characters. And I honestly think the top half of this episode is pretty good in its own, but man, that back half with the two of them just having a long high bender and connecting with each other might be some of my favorite Family Guy in years. They smoked this. No pun intended. Unless you want it to be, I don't care.
I have no autonomy. I'm on everyone else's schedule.
Stewie, I see you, I hear you, and I feel the same way. All adults do. I mean, I'm not strapped in a car seat, but I may as well be. Every day, it's shopping, chores, cleaning, repeat.
So it's not just me? Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
But really the key here is that Lois seems to understand Stewie while they're both high. We don't know if they both need to be high, if only she needs to be high or what, but it's the first time these characters have had a full conversation in over 10 years.
So, you're not gonna kill me, right?
Not anytime soon.
Here's the thing, dude. I could probably make like 15 of these videos and come up with more convoluted answers each time. The true joy in enjoying a cartoon like Family Guy is that attitude of nothing mattering, of being able to tune in and understand that rules don't necessarily apply, that logic doesn't apply, and they'll subvert what you think you know about these characters to get a good laugh out of you. As you can see, there are clearly trends and patterns, but no absolutes unless we're talking about Brian or Chris. Sometimes it's funnier if Lois doesn't hear him. Sometimes a joke involving Joe is too funny to be a stickler with the rules over. There is no one-size-fits-all answer. At one point, everybody could hear him, but they just chose to ignore him. At another point, only Chris and Brian could hear him. Sometimes Peter can too, or Quagmire. At the end of season 4 is the Fat Guy Strangler. Stewie enters the living room and starts to talk about a dead fat guy that he found upstairs. Everyone in the family looks at him with changed expressions when he starts talking. Then they very visibly start to ignore him. Compare this to the end of Lottery Fever in episode 6 seasons after this one, where Stewie delivers a joke and nobody even looks in his direction.
You know, I'm still young enough you can drop me at the fire station, no questions asked.
Not to mention the intro to the cartoon. Stewie has a whole line in the theme song that clearly everyone can hear. Why else would they leave space for him to sing?
Laugh and cry.
Okay, plus, you know, laugh and cry? You know, in the song where Stewie says laugh and cry? Let me stay, Meg, and it's all yours.
You do that?
I will look into it. I will look into it very strongly.
Laugh and cry.
With a cartoon like this, with so many episodes and history, no matter what answer you come up with, there's gonna be some obscure episode that you never even heard of that'll throw a wrench in your entire argument. And in all honesty, I wouldn't have it any other way.
It seems today that all you see is the violence in movies and on TV. Lucky there's a family gear.
Please save me here. Bro, you forgot about this scene. I already told y'all that this wasn't a full list. God damn. Niggas always want to act like they know something you don't. Good job, bro. You watch Family Guy. More videos coming soon. I'm sorry. I just had writer's block.